Jesus entered Jericho. I was reading a commentary this weekend, and it gave this beautiful depiction of this place called Jericho. This place where Jesus encountered Zacchaeus. And he describes it in this way. He says, Jericho is a wealthy and very important town. She lay in the Jordan Valley, and she commanded both the access to Jerusalem and the crossing of the river to the eastern side of the Jordan. She had great palm forests and world-famous balsam groves, these beautiful flowers, which perfumed the air for miles. Her gardens of roses were known far and wide, and Josephus, this ancient historian of Jewish history, described it as a divine region. And even in our world today, we encounter beauty so magnificent that at times we are caught up in the beauty of the world, the reality of a paradise lost but not utterly destroyed. And it was here in this spectacular town called Jericho, where the Romans carried her dates and balsam to worldwide trade and fame. All this combined to make her one of the greatest taxation centers in Palestine. And this is how we get to see how he acquired such wealth, how Zacchaeus became so wealthy as a tax collector. And one of the reasons why he was hated was the fact that he worked for the Romans. And obviously the Romans conquered the Jewish people and ruled over them. And the second thing of why he was hated was because those who collected taxes were often known for skimming from the top or taking a little extra for themselves. But as Jesus has this vision of walking past through this town, Zacchaeus does something quite interesting. He climbs a tree to seek out our Lord. And this is the reality of conversion. Our hearts must be willing to seek out God. But in this search, one of the things Zacchaeus finds in his life was the fact that Jesus sought him. Jesus looked up at him in the tree and told him to come down, that I must stay at your home. And in this encounter, Zacchaeus experiences the love of God in his life, the fact that there was this true concern for his well-being, how he was doing, and he was truly loved by God. And in this response that Zacchaeus has, it comes first from this encounter with divine love. And Zacchaeus' response is one of righteousness. He realizes his sin. He realized that he took unlawfully from his own people. And this is the first sign of grace operating in his heart, that recognition of his sin, that true contrition, and that desire to restore what was stolen. All grace operating within this man, proceeding, preparing, and drawing out this free response to do the right thing. Teaching the heart to fear God, not as a tyrant in the sky, but as a perfectly just God who rules the world and pays each man according to their deeds at the end of their life. Moved by God's grace, Zacchaeus turns toward God and away from sin, accepting the forgiveness of our Lord, and also doing the right thing, accepting the right judgment of Jesus Christ. And what is most important to learn about this man and this encounter with God is Zacchaeus took concrete steps to show that he was a changed man. A man who truly encountered the love of the Lord and was called to be just in all of his actions. Zacchaeus also was moved beyond the law into that sanctifying charity of divine fire, which does not simply stop at fulfilling the law, but goes beyond it. That true saintly action that is rare in the world. As one author put it, testimony is worthless unless it is backed up by deeds which guarantee its sincerity. It is not a mere change of words that Christ demands, but a change of life. And in Zacchaeus' life, there was this visual change that salvation has visited his home. And when we truly practice our faith and go to the sacraments regularly with that right disposition, there's a lively change that shows in our faces, in our hearts, that salvation has visited our home, that divine love has touched our soul.